have literally like a mummy here.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh my f***! Stay low! Stay low!
Without wasting time, here are 6 most disturbing backpacking encounters caught on camera. Franco is a YouTuber who posts his adventures around the world on his YouTube channel, Franco Travels, exploring new and dangerous places in almost every video. In August of 2024, Franco embarked on a backpacking trip where he explored a remote cemetery in the mountains of Peru, where Frank encounters a haunting and grim reality. Frank sets out on this journey despite warnings from locals, who caution him about the dangers of the area, emphasizing its poverty and potential risks for outsiders. The destination is infamous for its history, which includes devastating earthquakes that left destruction in their wake, opening tombs, and exposing human remains. However, what Frank discovers extends far beyond natural disasters. Frank begins by explaining his journey, which involves taking a combination of buses and taxis to reach a small, isolated town. Upon arrival, he immediately notices the extreme poverty in the area. People approach him asking for food and money, and he becomes aware that he is being followed by locals, which makes him uneasy. To avoid drawing unwanted attention, Frank refrains from filming openly in public. As he makes his way to the cemetery, he recounts how earthquakes have left much of the town in ruins. These earthquakes not only caused widespread death, but also unearthed graves, exposing the remains of those buried there. When Frank reaches the cemetery, he is struck by its size and desolation.
Look at the size of this place. Alright, I'm gonna actually start from right and then kind of work my way in.
It is a sprawling site, filled with damaged and poorly maintained graves, many of which have been completely desecrated. He describes the cemetery as eerily quiet, its neglected state amplifying the sense of isolation. The further he ventures, the more shocking the discoveries become. Scattered bones, open caskets, and piles of remains litter the area.
Look, you could already see bones. See it? Right here. That one's sticking out. See the arm? I'm gonna go ahead and zoom. But you could see the arm sticking out, like he was trying to come out or something. Oh, that's terrifying.
Frank notes that many graves appear to have been deliberately disturbed, with evidence of human interference far outweighing the damage caused by natural disasters. One of the most distressing aspects of the exploration is the presence of infant remains. Frank comes across small skeletons, some still clothed in tattered nightgowns or burial garments. He films what appears to be the mummified remains of a child, with intact hair and clothing.
And then you have literally like a mummy here. Completely desecrated. And you can see they were poking around with a stick. I think they were stealing from tombs. Look at the, oh my God. I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at. I think those are feet. Here. Oh my God. They took the head.
He speculates that grave robbers have targeted these small graves, possibly for ritual purposes. The sight of an infant's bones scattered on the ground, along with fragments of personal items, leaves Frank visibly shaken. As he delves deeper into the cemetery, Frank uncovers evidence of grave robbing on a larger scale. He observes that many of the skulls have had their jaws removed, which he speculates was done to extract gold teeth. This theory is reinforced by the presence of scattered jaw bones throughout the site. Frank expresses horror at the thought of such greed driving people to desecrate graves, especially those of infants and holy figures. He also finds evidence that some bodies were burned, with charred remains left in small piles. The combination of scattered bones, open graves, and burn sites creates an overwhelming sense of chaos and disrespect. Throughout the exploration, Frank encounters signs of possible ritualistic practices. He points out graves marked with symbols, such as X or crosses, and finds traces of candle wax near certain sites. While he acknowledges that witchcraft is often viewed differently in indigenous cultures, sometimes as a form of spiritual practice rather than something sinister, he cannot shake the unsettling feeling that the cemetery has been used for darker purposes. Hair left behind at some grave sites further suggests that the remains were tampered with for ritualistic reasons. Frank frequently pauses to reflect on the cultural and social context of what he is witnessing. He explains that the remote location, combined with extreme poverty, creates an environment where traditional burial practices often intersect with desperation and neglect. He notes that in some indigenous cultures, witchcraft is not seen as inherently evil, but as a way to seek guidance or assistance. However, the extent of desecration in this cemetery goes beyond what he expected, leaving him grappling with questions about the motives and meaning behind the destruction. As Frank continues his exploration, the cemetery begins to feel like a scene from a post-apocalyptic film. He describes the area as resembling a desert, with little vegetation and an overwhelming sense of abandonment. Graves are crudely constructed, some with cinder blocks or makeshift materials, and many are left completely exposed. Frank acknowledges that there is little he can do to address the situation, as the cemetery's condition appears to be normalized in the area. He laments the lack of preservation and respect for the dead, describing the experience as one of the most disturbing he has ever had. Despite his discomfort, he recognizes the importance of documenting the site, both to raise awareness and to provide a glimpse into a reality that many might not otherwise see. While relieved to have left the cemetery, the images of desecrated graves and scattered remains linger in his mind. Sometimes it's not just the presence of the unknown that turns a backpacking trip into a nightmare. Nature itself can become your greatest challenge. An example of this is showcased in this coming footage, which was posted on June 4th, 2022 on the Tyson Pierce YouTube channel. It recounts an intense and harrowing survival story as Tyson, along with his younger brother and a friend, faces the largest directional storm ever recorded in Canada while building a bushcraft shelter deep in the woods. On May 21, 2022, the storm struck with winds reaching 190 kilometers per hour, equivalent to hurricane-force winds, along with tornadoes. It started as a hot and sunny afternoon, with Tyson and his companions, his younger brother and a friend Miguel, venturing into the woods to work on his bushcraft shelter. They were collecting rocks to construct a fireplace and chimney for the shelter. The atmosphere was relaxed and the group spent over 2 hours gathering materials. However, the serene day took a sudden turn when Tyson checked his phone and saw a severe thunderstorm warning issued by Environment Canada.
I looked at my phone and saw this weather alert of a severe thunderstorm approaching us. While reading it, I started recording and I turned my head, looked in the sky, and it was pitch black. Just pure strong wind right in my face. There was less than a minute to react. I started to panic.
At first, the group did not grasp the seriousness of the alert, but Tyson soon noticed that the sky had turned pitch black. As a strong wind picked up, he realized they had less than a minute to react before the storm hit. With no time to run and the forest rapidly becoming a danger zone, Tyson made a crucial decision: to stay inside the bushcraft shelter. He instructed the boys to take cover inside, reasoning that attempting to flee would likely result in them being hit by falling trees or debris. Within seconds, the storm was upon them, the sheer force of the wind and the sound of trees cracking and falling all around them.
Tornado! Stay low! Stay low! Stay low! Stay low! Stay! Stay! Stay low!
Is it leaving?
No! Stay! Stay low, buddy! Stay! Stay! It is a small ball! Stay low! No, we're good. Fuck!
No, we're dying. We're dying.
No, stay.
Fuck.
Shit, bro!
Fuck. my god. Tice.
Stay.
Tice, please, don't make me.
Yes, you're good. You're good. Only good.
Only good? But sir, c'est pour ça, sir.
Please, God, please.
God, s'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît.
Oh my god, no.
Please, no. Stay low.
No.
Stay.
No.
Holy f***.
Tyson, please.
Stay. Please, God.
Tyson emphasizes how close they came to being crushed and attributes their survival to the shelter's sturdy design and their quick decision to take lower ground. As the group huddled in the shelter, trees were uprooted, branches snapped, and debris flew through the air. Tyson repeatedly urged the boys to stay still, as the storm's intensity made any movement dangerous. Despite the chaos, the bushcraft shelter miraculously held up against the storm's onslaught, providing a safe haven in the middle of what they call the most terrifying moment of their life. Once the storm passed, the group emerged from the shelter to assess the damage. The woods were almost unrecognizable, with countless trees uprooted or snapped in half. Tyson remarks on the devastation, noting how unusual this type of weather is for Canada, particularly in Ontario. He repeatedly expresses disbelief at the scale of destruction, describing it as a once-in-a-lifetime event. The group decides to leave the area as quickly as possible, fearing additional dangers from unstable trees or another storm. As they navigate the treacherous terrain, the trails are blocked by fallen trees, making their escape slow and challenging. The sense of urgency and tension is palpable. After finally getting back home, Tyson claims that staying in the shelter was the decision that saved their lives. He acknowledges how lucky they were to have the shelter as a refuge, emphasizing that running would have likely resulted in severe injury or death. He also credits the weather alert for giving them the crucial few seconds needed to take action, noting that if he hadn't checked his phone, the boys might have been playing in the woods when the storm hit. Tyson's area was left without electricity for 3 days, and the storm caused widespread chaos, including food shortages, gas station lines, and fallen trees. Despite the hardships, Tyson expresses gratitude for their survival. Tyson's bushcraft shelter, built for recreation and learning, became a life-saving structure in the face of a deadly storm. His decision to stay put rather than flee highlights the value of making calculated choices during emergencies. The raw footage of the storm makes this an unforgettable account of surviving one of Canada's most intense storms in recent history. On 15th November 2021, the team of Ghost Theory goes on a backpacking trip to explore an abandoned hospital known as Hell's Hospital. This vlog documents an eerie exploration where the group of adventurers experience unsettling paranormal activity and mysterious occurrences. From the outset, the group acknowledges the creepiness of the location, describing it as one of the most unsettling places they've ever visited. The group enters the building through an open window after climbing over a water-filled manhole. Once inside, they express their unease, with one of them stating they are shaking and terrified, even before exploring the main sections of the hospital. They recall stories about the location from another explorer, who reportedly saw a shadowy figure walking down a corridor in the same building. The sense of anticipation and dread builds as the group prepares to move deeper into the structure. As they begin their exploration, the adventurers notice strange phenomena almost immediately. One mentions hearing knocking sounds behind them, which raises their anxiety.
What was that?
What?
There was a knock behind you.
Let's just be quiet a second, actually. Come through here. Just the vibe in this place.
The group tries to remain quiet to pinpoint the source of the noise, but their uneasiness grows as the sounds continue intermittently. They also encounter unexplained wet marks on the walls, adding another layer of mystery to the experience. While exploring various rooms and hallways, the group observes the remnants of the hospital's past, including crutches and other medical equipment. In one hallway, they notice the word "leave" written ominously on a surface, which unsettles them further.
I swear there wasn't there a second.
What does that? Leave. That says leave.
It does, yeah.
It's still dripping.
What's What is it?
The decayed surroundings and dark corridors amplify their growing sense of vulnerability. At one point, the group hears what sounds like furniture being dragged upstairs. They debate whether to investigate, but ultimately decide against it, citing the unstable condition of the upper floors and their growing fear. Instead, they continue exploring the lower levels, where more strange noises echo through the space. The sound of a loud thud in one area stops them in their tracks, leading to speculation about whether they are alone in the building. A significant moment occurs when the group discovers a blood bag among the debris.
You can sort of see inside it, and there's red coming out of it.
Yeah.
What on earth?
Filming your kneecaps.
The bag appears to have red liquid leaking from it, which they suspect is blood. This discovery raises questions about whether the hospital has been used for sinister purposes since its abandonment. The sight of the blood bag, coupled with the other oddities they've encountered, intensifies their fear and speculation about paranormal activity. Later, the group sets up a K2 meter, a device used to detect electromagnetic fields, often associated with spirits in paranormal investigations. To their shock, the device begins lighting up when they ask questions, seemingly responding to their prompts. For example, when they ask if a spirit is present, the meter lights up to red, indicating a strong signal. Throughout the investigation, the group captures several unexplained sounds, including what they describe as moaning and loud knocks.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I feel like we need to find a really, really decent room to go down, and then choose. Oh my shit on my What the hell?
Should we go?
Did you get that on camera?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea.
Sake.
I'm shaking.
Please tell me we got
Look,
that on camera.
I don't know.
What the hell?
These occurrences leave them torn between continuing the exploration and leaving for their safety. The building's oppressive atmosphere and the unpredictable nature of the phenomena weigh heavily on their decision-making. They become increasingly anxious. They express concern about whether the door that fell earlier was pushed by a spirit or simply collapsed due to the building's condition. They attempt to rule out natural causes, such as wind, but find no drafts or environmental factors that could explain the movement. This lack of explanation adds to their fear, making them feel as though an unseen presence is interacting with them. Regardless, the group continues their communication attempts with the K2 meter. They ask the spirit if it wants them to leave, and the meter lights up to red again, confirming their suspicion that they are unwelcome.
Just ask you a question. Can you turn it off if you mean us harm?
Did you try to hit us with this door? Were you trying to hurt us then? Take that to red if you were trying to hurt us.
Please light this thing up if you just want us to leave.
It does.
Okay, we're going to leave now.
That's right up to red,
Yeah.
solidly there.
We're going to leave now.
Out of respect and a growing sense of unease, the group decides to end the investigation and leave the building. The meter's consistent responses throughout the session leave them convinced that they've captured compelling evidence of paranormal activity. As they exit the hospital, the group describes this experience as one of the most terrifying investigations they've ever conducted. The group concludes that the evidence they captured is significant enough to consider the investigation a success, despite the fear and tension they experienced throughout. This video appeared on Twitter in 2022. It recounts the terrifying moment when a group of backpackers in the southeastern region of Lugu, Taiwan, experienced a powerful earthquake on September 18, 2022. What began as a calm and leisurely day in nature quickly turned into a scene of chaos and fear as the ground beneath them began to violently shake, marking the first of two devastating earthquakes to strike the area that day.
不要放手，地震。
The footage, remarkably steady despite the circumstances, captures the intense and frightening force of the earthquake. The backpackers had been enjoying their outdoor adventure, seemingly unaware of the seismic activity brewing beneath Taiwan's tectonic plates. Without warning, the earthquake hit, throwing the group into panic as the ground trembled beneath them. The environment, previously serene, was suddenly filled with the sounds of shifting earth, crashing debris, and the fearful reactions of those caught in the disaster. The cameraman's ability to keep filming amidst the chaos provides a rare and visceral glimpse into the raw power of the earthquake. The video highlights the severity of the quake, showing trees swaying violently, the ground fracturing, and rocks tumbling in the distance. The earthquake's intensity is palpable. The quake, which struck with significant magnitude, was only the first of two that day. It left a trail of destruction in its wake, with over 146 people injured and tragically claiming one life. The aftershocks and subsequent earthquake later compounded the damage, further unsettling an already shaken community. Roads cracked, buildings collapsed, and landslides rendered certain areas inaccessible, complicating rescue and relief efforts. This event showcased Taiwan's vulnerability to seismic activity, given its location along the Pacific Ring of Fire. For the backpackers, what began as a day of adventure turned into a life-altering moment, reminding everyone of the unpredictability and power of nature. In this video, posted by Scott Carpenter, Scott showcases an unfiltered and raw exploration of a remote forest, where he embarks on a mission to document potential evidence of Bigfoot activity while on a backpacking trip. Framed as a continuation of previous investigations, Scott expresses a mix of curiosity, apprehension, and determination. The exploration focuses on observing signs of the creature's presence, such as altered stick structures, strange noises, and potential sightings. The investigation begins with the narrator revisiting a stick structure they had previously created in the woods to mimic what they believe to be Bigfoot's territorial markers. The structure includes a balanced stick, a small wooden pyramid, and other intricately placed elements. Upon arriving, the narrator discovers that the structure has been disturbed. The balanced stick has been removed, snapped in half, and discarded nearby.
The balance stick has been pulled out. It's laying on the ground and it's been snapped in two. See where it's been snapped? I don't know where the other half is. There's the lower half.
This discovery intrigues and unsettles the narrator, who speculates that the act was intentional. This behavior, the narrator notes, has occurred in other investigations, where similar structures were altered or dismantled after their placement. The narrator examines the snapped stick closely, pointing out that natural forces like wind could not have caused the damage. They hypothesize that the destruction may be a form of communication or a territorial warning. They discuss the possibility that these markers hold symbolic meaning for Bigfoot, serving as trail markers, family identifiers, or boundary lines. The recurring pattern of altered stick structures fuels the narrator's belief that there is deliberate intelligence behind these actions. As the exploration continues, the narrator becomes increasingly uneasy. They describe the sensation of being bracketed, meaning they feel as though they are being surrounded or monitored from multiple directions. Subtle noises, including the snapping of branches and faint rustling in the underbrush, heighten their tension.
If I get lucky, I'm going to have a sighting today, get eaten by a bear, attacked by a bear, or end up disappearing. Because they are loud. I'm sure the camera's not picking any of this crap up.
The narrator frequently pauses to scan the surroundings. They theorize that the noises could be an intentional tactic by Bigfoot to distract or intimidate them, further suggesting a level of strategic behavior. A pivotal moment occurs when the narrator spots a dark figure darting between the trees. The sighting is brief, but enough to send a jolt of adrenaline through the narrator, who describes the figure as large, dark, and moving with purposeful agility. Attempting to follow the figure, the narrator climbs to higher ground to get a better vantage point. However, upon reaching the area, They find no immediate signs of the figure's presence. This fleeting glimpse of the unknown solidifies the narrator's belief that they are being watched or tracked by something intelligent and elusive.
I saw a movement. Something darted behind this tree or darted in this area. Scared the crap out of me. Black. Large. Looked like I saw his trailing arm. See? Or his butt. Of course, there won't be anything here. No sign, no footprints.
The investigation gains further credibility when the narrator discovers a potential Bigfoot footprint in the soft earth. They measure it against their own boot, estimating the track to be 16 or 17 inches long, significantly larger than a human footprint.
Alright, it's possible footfall right there. See that? There we go. See, look, this is just barely, you can just barely tell it. There it is. Okay, there we go. I'm not a total buffoon. There's the footprint right here. I'll have to dissect it for you because you can barely see it, but right up here are the toes. Right there's the heel mark. That's a big old boy too.
They point out clear toe marks and a deep heel indentation, showcasing the depth and size of the print as evidence of a large creature. The narrator's excitement is palpable, as they emphasize the rarity of finding such physical traces. They speculate that the track's depth and shape align with other Bigfoot sightings and evidence reported by researchers. They hypothesize that the creature may be attempting to manipulate their movements by making noises or briefly showing itself to redirect attention. The narrator suggests that this behavior could allow other creatures to move unseen or perform tasks undetected. They reflect on the frustration of capturing fleeting glimpses and hearing ambiguous noises without being able to definitively document the phenomena. This frustration underscores the inherent challenges of investigating something as elusive as Bigfoot. As the exploration nears its end, the narrator discovers additional subtle signs of disturbance, such as displaced leaves and faint indentations in the ground that could indicate movement. They highlight the difficulty of tracking in such a dense and overgrown environment, where evidence can easily be obscured or overlooked. Despite these challenges, the narrator expresses their commitment to continuing the investigation, believing that every small piece of evidence contributes to the larger puzzle. They reiterate their belief that these discoveries point to the presence of Bigfoot in the area. The narrator expresses a mix of excitement and frustration, acknowledging the difficulties of capturing definitive proof while maintaining a sense of wonder and determination. The final footage of this video captures a tense and frightening moment in the wilderness when a group of backpackers spots a bear approaching another group of hikers. The situation quickly escalates into chaos as the bear's unexpected presence sparks fear and panic among those in the area. What begins as a tranquil hike through the woods rapidly turns into a nerve-wracking encounter that highlights both the danger of wild animal interactions and the importance of staying calm under pressure. The incident unfolds as the backpackers notice the bear moving toward the hikers. The bear, described as large and imposing, slowly advances, its sheer presence enough to send waves of anxiety through the group. The backpackers begin shouting warnings to the hikers, yelling for them to back away and stay off the trail. However, their well-meaning instructions are overshadowed by the hikers' panic-stricken reactions.
Make noise! Make noise! Get off the trail!
Back up, back up!
They shouldn't run. They should. Don't run! Don't run!
Don't run, dudes!
Running, however, is widely regarded as the worst possible response to a bear encounter, as it can provoke the animal's predatory instincts. Amidst the chaos, the bear's reaction becomes the focal point. Thankfully, instead of giving chase, the bear remains still, seemingly uninterested in pursuing the hikers. This lack of aggression allows everyone involved to escape the encounter unharmed. The group of backpackers and the fleeing hikers manage to distance themselves from the bear, breathing sighs of relief as the danger subsides. And with that, I'm out.